Performance, outstanding victory for Crystal Palace.
And after what we saw Spurs do yesterday to go forth, we asked the question, what would Arsenal's response be? And the answer was?
Yeah, they fell short. They were poor tonight in all aspects of their game. The disappointing thing is that they've underperformed at times and got results this season, which is a good sign. Sometimes you need to work on playing poorly and winning, and they've done that at times. They played really well against some of the big teams, Man City, Liverpool, but lost both those games. And this is the first time for a while now I've seen them play poorly and get outplayed, outpassed, outworked, outthought, all in one game. There's been patches in different games, but tonight it all fell together in the wrong way. And Arteta's got some serious sort of chats to have with the players. He had them at half-time. We saw the difference in the second half. So it was there in them. But sometimes you need a spark from the manager just to get you going. But they were so poor in that first half that he'll be very disappointed and very worried that leading towards the pointed end of the season, that's come up at this stage.
Final result of your Premier League weekend then, and a highly significant one in terms of the top four, with those 3 goals and 3 points for Palace. In terms of the relegation, there is still one huge game to come this Premier League week, the rearranged game between Burnley and Everton, second bottom against fourth bottom. We of course saw both Liverpool and City win 2-0 on Saturday. Chelsea lose surprisingly at home to Brentford. Wins for Wolves, draws between Leeds and Southampton, more drop points for Manchester United as well. Back to return for winning ways for West Ham on Sunday, and that thumping 5-1 win for Spurs against Newcastle. And it is that win that still keeps Tottenham in the top 4. Remember, they went there on Sunday for the first time since the second week of September. They stay there at the end of tonight. Arsenal level on points, game in hand, 5 goals worse off, and Palace up to 9th. They've taken 11 points, incidentally, off the top 6 this season. Patrick Viera's side, the most of any team outside of the Big 6. Wilfried Zaha will see his penalty in a moment. But you can feel the atmosphere that you were alluding to before the game around the whole club. A real togetherness at the moment.
Yeah, not just the club, but all around South London. Everyone's happier. There's a great togetherness, though, at that football club. You can see they win together, they lose together. I think Patrick Viera, I know we keep crediting him, outstanding. Because what people were questioning him when he first went in there. Was he the right man? Was he third or fourth choice? No one cares about that now at Crystal Palace. He's the number 1 choice. He's in there. He's got them playing. There's a great togetherness in there. Everyone's playing together. We're not even seeing the likes of Eze come off the bench today. That's how good that squad is. It's evolved and it's moving forward. And huge credit must go to Patrick Viera.
Arsenal had a good spell, which we'll come to in the second half. But then that penalty, which Zaha converted, came at a time to dent them.
Yeah, I mean, they are pushing, but they've still got men at the back to deal with this. There's no real problem. 3v1 after that Partey mistake, and he obviously got injured there. And there's no reason for Gabriel to dive in there. Just stay 3v1 and jog backwards towards your goal. Sooner or later, you'll catch him up in the end. They don't get him before he gets in the box, and it's Odegaard who's ran from the opposite box, who just takes his standing foot. Paul Tierney sort of looks at it, wanders away. Now, whether he's had a call in the ear from the linesman, I don't know, but he sees this, or he looks like he doesn't, because he doesn't give it, and then he starts to wander back. Whether he's having a little think to see whether it's a pen or not, I think you can see straight away that it is, unless he's been told by something. And Zaha, we were wondering, me and Clinton, whether he had the technique to score it. He's been pretty good from penalty spot so far, and he stuck it brilliantly in the corner, and that was the game over right there.
Yeah, he's confident in that. He wanted to be the penalty taker. Milivojevic was the penalty taker, and still is when he's playing. But he's the main man. He should take the penalty. He's playing further up the field. I always think the striker should be taking it. But no, it was an outstanding performance. But Lee made a great point, and he has made lots of great points. But in particular,
as always.
Oh, as always, I'm more of a.
Stop it.
Sorry, all right.
We never see you blush.
Exactly.
Oh, you're not blushing.
Yeah. I'm more of an attacking player, so I'm looking at the positive attacking. But there, Gabriel, I don't know. He makes a good point. He don't need to go out, because if he stays there and just jockeys Wilfried Zaha, the Xhaka's coming back, and also Ben White, and then it's harder. Then you can come in together, and it's hard for Wilfried Zaha. But once you dive in, he's one of the best in the Premier League. Wilfried Zaha going one-on-one there, and this bit. Look, there's 3 players there. Look, Odegaard, you got to give him credit. He's got back and tried to make a tackle, but it's a typical centre forward or attacking midfielders tackle. For that, you can't tackle there, and the referee gets it right. But Wilfried Zaha, when he gets into that position, he's one of the best in the Premier League. But Gabriel has to defend better in them situations.
OK, let's go back to the first half. From a striker's point of view, first of all, Mateta's got 3 and 5 now, and he's proving a few people wrong.
No, he proved me wrong, because I'll be honest with you, Steve, I didn't think he was good enough. Every time I saw him, I thought he was clumsy, he didn't hold the ball up. He's over 6'2", and he should be more of a presence. He is causing problems now. He's changed his game, and it's brilliant from Anderson. I know he don't know a lot about it. It's poor defending, but he's in and around that 6-yard box.
Yeah, I think, the defending, you can have a go at. It was a little bit of a flick from Gabriel, who flicked it on to Anderson at the far post. But when the ball comes in, he's free. He's 6 yards out. He's in the middle of the goal. Shouldn't happen. Ben White just gets attracted towards the ball a little bit. And once you start wandering as a defender, if you're not in the challenge, where's the ball going to come? And it's going to come more or less back into the middle of the goal. If it goes anywhere else, it doesn't matter. That's where you score the goals from. And they just switched off again. And that was them in the first half. Not at the game, not mentally switched on. And when that happens against an energetic Palace side that have got some players in it who can win a game on their own, you're in big trouble, and that's what happened.
And it happened again 8.5 minutes after that incident for the second.
Yeah, and it was a poor goal again. Defensive mistakes. Palace had a lot of the ball in that first half, and they used it really well. But again, the back four just gets broken up a little bit. Tierney not in the side. Tavares out of position. Gabriel thinks he can win it. No, he can't. And Ayew scores a brilliant goal from his point of view, the finish. The back four, as we said in the first half, was in a decent position. That's not bad. But what you can't do then is make rash decisions. And this is a bad decision. Ayew's going to try and move him, but he moves the wrong way. You don't go back to your goal. You step into that. You block his run with your body. And he's got to run round you then, and that takes a little bit more time. And Gabriel, if you're going to dive in, 100%, last man, you've got to win the ball.
Lee, so Tavares is there and they were set up in that line. If he comes in, Tavares, and closer to Gabriel, you want the ball to go out wider, don't you? You don't want it to come inside where your centre-back comes there. So you're right, Gabriel makes the wrong decision, but also Tavares, don't know where he's going. Come and be narrow. Like, you want it to go on the outside, don't you?
Yeah, well, the reason why Ayew's making that run is because that's the dangerous run. That's where you don't want him to go as a defender. So stop him going there, block his run, and make him go outside.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Yeah,
See there's no. Let him have it to feet and then go and do something.
Yeah.
But by going where he goes and drops off, that enables Ayew to make the run, regardless of whether he's going to get it from the Gabriel mistake. He's making that run because the gap appears, and it appears because he's in a wrong position. Defending is 90% position, and the rest of it takes care of itself. The old adage of out of possession, get in position. That's it. Get in position when you haven't got the ball, and then they've got to do something then to beat you. All of those goals, the Palace players didn't have to do much to get in. There was mistakes.
And in terms of the finish, we mentioned at half-time, just his second goal in 56 Palace games. You wouldn't have thought so, though, would you?
No, he was composed. He was composed. One man who always told me, when you're in those positions, go ice cool, is the main man, Ian Wright. And he always says that. And he was ice cool in that. The touch was brilliant. I think the touch made it. But when he go on his left foot, he's not left-footed, he's right-footed. And he's not always strong on his left foot. But he just bends that into the far corner. And it has to be something special to beat Ramsdale. He's in fantastic form. But brilliant finish from Jordan Ayew. He's coming for Elise, who's been outstanding. And he had a really good game.
Yeah, and that's all he can do in his situation, isn't it, when Elise's not playing?
You just got to put pressure. Everyone knows when Elise's fit, he's going to start. But all you can do is keep putting pressure on the players when you get given that opportunity, on the likes of Elise, the likes of Zaha. And he did that tonight, Jordan Ayew.
And is that more of the squad depth you were talking about before the game now? The options that Patrick Viera's got? And he's squeezing everything out of those players.
No, he is. And you've got James McArthur, who's just coming back. Will Hughes didn't get on the pitch today. Eze, an exciting player. I know he's only coming back from a long-term injury. It's going to take a bit of time, but he's another exciting one. And there's a lot of good attacking options. Benteke didn't even get on the pitch today, and he hasn't played a lot of football, so credit Patrick Viera. I've always said it.
Will Patrick get any money in the summer? Will he have
Well, I hope he gets here. I'll be making a phone call to Steve Parish and Dougie Freedman, that's for sure, to say you should be backing him, though. If you want to kick on, they're 9th at the moment, and they can finish. I think that's where the highest they can finish because the gap's too big. But I think if he gets a bit of money, for sure, I think you have to go again because you've got to keep evolving. I don't think it'll be a lot of money. I think they did most of their work in this summer, but there'll definitely be money to spend again in the summer.
I mentioned at 2-0, Arsenal had a better spell, and they had 2 really good chances they didn't take.
Well, you know, I was cheering 2-0, this game isn't over, get the next goal. And certainly they pressed and pressed, and this is a brilliant opportunity. And I was saying to Clint, I'm not a goal scorer, but could he toe poke that? Couldn't quite get his feet right, and could he actually just throw a toe at it? And this one, again, it's just a little bit behind Odegaard. I have to give him credit for getting in the position, but they were pressing, and it's just one of those where you just can't get the ball in the net. And if they didn't score in that period of time, you just felt that it was going to get worse and worse, and it did in the end. But Arsenal are in a position now where desperation, when you're 2-0 down away from home and you know that Tottenham have won, and that's where it starts to kick in and you start to get a little bit. But you should be like that before the game. You should know that you've got to win every game. That's the nature of being at a club like that. You've got to win every game.
From Palace's point of view, 4 consecutive clean sheets in all competitions. In fact, they've kept more now this season than all of last season under Roy Hodgson.
See, that's brilliant. And everyone knows Roy to be defensively and Patrick to be more expansive on the front foot. So it's credit. As I said, the defence have been excellent. Nathaniel Klein's come in where Ward's been injured. He's done a brilliant job. But Anderson and Gahey and Mitchell have been regulars. And them 3 have been outstanding this season. And the goalkeeper, special mention to him, Guaita, have been good. And Chet Kiote does a brilliant job sitting because Palace have a lot of attacking options. And these players go under the radar. We don't talk about them. But he sits in front of that back 4 and does a brilliant job. And
they've scored more goals already this season than all of last season as well.
That's just the attacking options that they've got and they've added to that team. And it's just brilliant at the moment. They just want to go forward. They want to create chances. If I'm a centre forward in that team, I don't need to come out of the box. I just stay there, hold the ball up, get it wide to Zaha and Elise or Ayew if he's out there, and just stay in the box, and they are creating chances.
I mean, Arsenal have seen plenty of Palace. They've seen them first-hand at the Emirates this season to know the style in which they played. It just didn't look prepared for them at times tonight.
It shouldn't have been a surprise, expecting them to come out high energy, high press, but they just looked like they weren't ready. Sometimes you get those games, and that's where you look round at your senior players. When things are going well and you're winning games and everything, all the fans are talking about you and the pundits are saying, oh, Arsenal are going to get 4th. That, for me, is the warning sign to be a senior pro in that dressing room going, we've won nothing, stop celebrating, stop all the cheering when we get it. You know, because there's peaks and troughs in a season where things are going well. You ride those waves. As soon as you start to get a smell of something in the dressing room that you kind of go, do you know what, this could be... And that fixture was a red light in itself. Palace away, when they're in that form, they should have been drilling each other in the dressing room, talking about the possibilities of getting thumped. And they got thumped tonight. And that for Arteta will be really disappointing.
But who would you say in that dressing room can lead that? Because I'm trying to think of the experienced players that can say this is a huge game. Because you can't put the pressure on the youngsters. Who in the dressing room does lead that?
Again, I'm not in the dressing room, so you know the experienced players like Xhaka, Ben White's been on low. He's played quite a bit of football. You've got Gabriel. They're not. You don't look at them and go, oh, they're the leaders of the team. Yeah. That's one of the areas of the team that we've said in the past that they're short of. And again, it's unfair of me to make a full commitment about that because I'm not in the dressing room. But you see it on the pitch. At times like that, there's no grabbing hold and going, right, we're under pressure here. We're going to sit for 10 minutes and we're going to make sure that we don't give the ball away, don't make silly mistakes, and we keep the pressure away from our goal. There seems a bit of lack of that.
And the way you've grabbed me there, I'd definitely do it. I'm talking about the football pitch, that's for sure.
All those clean sheets weren't just thrown together.
That's what I'm saying. He's telling you better do it. I'll do whatever he says.
We're smiling. Mikel Arteta isn't. Here are the thoughts of the Arsenal manager.
Do you give Palace some credit as well? I know that you said that you were poor, but were you surprised by their intensity?
No, because they always play like that. Look, the big games, how they play, they've always been like that. So, of course, congratulations to them because they deserve to win the game.
You improved in the second half. Did that change in terms of the substitutions help with that, with shifting Granit across?
Well, I think we had much more control in the game. We had 3 or 4 open situations to score that we didn't manage to do. We just needed a goal. If that goal would have happened especially in the first two chances that Emil and Martin had, that would have been probably something different. But we weren't there in the boxes either.
I just want to ask you, you know, in terms of a reaction, what are you looking for after this? Because as you said, it fell below the standards that you expect.
Now that we are humble enough to accept the criticism and accept it the right way because we deserve it, and then step forward and don't feel sorry for yourself because we lost players and we lost a football match, because this is part of the game. It's how we react now and how we go into the Brighton games in the best possible condition now.
And just finally, it's still in your own hands. That's worth remembering. I know it's a setback today, but you've still got it in your own hands to finish fourth.
And we know that a lot of twists are going to happen still from here to the end of the season, and we have to be prepared for that and hopefully learn a lot from today's defeat.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Brighton at home next, then a trip to Southampton, the next couple of games for Arsenal. You've mentioned the young squad and lack of experience and leaders. Is it about how they react now, like Mikel Arteta?
It always is. It doesn't matter whether you've got a young squad or older players. It's always about the reaction. You're going to get results where you're not up to scratch, and you're going to lose games. Very few teams go through a season without losing. And there's going to be ups and downs. So it's all about reaction. It's all about how you bounce back, and the game has always been like that, and it will never change.
It looks like, at the moment, North London have the ascendancy. But let's have a look at Arsenal. First of all, let's just say Brighton and Southampton next, but then look at the next three: Chelsea, Manchester United, West Ham, then Leeds. And as I say, announced today, Arsenal and Tottenham fans, in case you haven't got that date in your diary, Thursday, the 12th of May, the first time that Arsenal go to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in front of supporters, and then Newcastle and Everton to finish. Twists and turns in there for you?
Oh, no doubt. I don't care. I'm not even looking at that. I won't even look at Tottenham's result. I won't even, because it's all about game by game and just focusing on what you're doing from Monday to Friday. Forget the Saturday. That's the most important thing. Forget the games. They're coming anyway. You can't do anything about them, and they're coming, and the results will come with them. It's about the preparation and the repair of your muscles and your mind before the next game.
OK. Lee doesn't want to see them, but you and I are going to see them. Tottenham's remaining games, Clinton, so you can talk me through these. They're in fourth, having played a game more. Viera away Saturday evening.
Tough.
Next, they play Brighton, Brentford, Leicester. They've got to go to Anfield, then, of course, the North London derby, and they finish with the bottom two at the moment.
And it could be all over for Norwich by then, and Burnley, it could be over by then. So there are two fixtures where you look. If you actually look at those fixtures, you would say probably Tottenham have got the better fixtures, but at the moment, Arsenal are still my favourites because...
Why?
Just because I just think the run of games that they've got coming up, the next two, are so crucial. Brighton, Southampton, I think they'll beat them. I think it will all come down to the North London derby. I do think it will get to that. It will get to that point, and it's probably winner takes all. But at this moment in time, I'm just going to make Arsenal favourites.
Chelsea had an easy fixture this weekend.
Yeah.
See, that's what happens. You start going, oh, they're going to win that, they're going to win that, they're going to win that.
Right.
Chelsea, Brentford happens, and then everyone goes, oh, go back to the drawing board. So there's going to be so many twists and turns in all of that, all of the stuff around the top four, and hopefully, from our point of view, Liverpool and Man City will have a few more twists and turns, and there'll be a few down the bottom as well, because there's a few teams down there that need to have a few twists and turns happen as well.
OK, into the top 10 tonight, into 9th, Crystal Palace. 1 defeat in 11 in all competitions now. Here's a happy Patrick Viera.
Patrick, where does that rank in terms of performances since you took over here?
It was a really good team performance. There's games where we perform it well, but we didn't take our chances. We didn't score that goals. But today, from the start, we started really well. We put them under pressure. We managed to score that first goal, which gave us even more confidence. And we managed to win the game, and we didn't concede the goal. So it was a really good team performance.
Would you say it's the best performance since you took over?
No, I don't think it's the best performance. I think it's a performance that we want and we expect. We know how well we can play. But what is important for us is to try to be consistent in our performance. I think from the beginning of the season, we had some higher, some low, but we always managed to keep our consistency in our emotions. And today we played well from the first minute. And I'm really proud and really happy with the players because they work hard today. And our objective now is to try to perform like that. And this is the biggest challenge for us.
You really seemed to rattle Arsenal early on. What was the key message to the players in terms of your approach?
We knew how good they were in possession. It was important for us to defend well, to put pressure and to stop them finding those players in between the line. You can see the way that Cheku Kouyaté came off the field. He gave everything, and every single player today worked hard. And we needed that performance to win that game.
Arteta's red hot at the moment. What have you done to get him in this kind of form?
It's the confidence and the belief from the staff, from his teammates. I think you can see the players around give him the ball, and he's taking a chance. JP doesn't need to create a lot of chances to score goals. He's a proper goal scorer. So he's doing well for the team. He's scoring goals. He's enjoying his football. He believes on himself. The team, everybody believes on him, and he's performing well for us.
And another clean sheet against one of the top sides. How satisfying is that?
Really satisfied. We play against a team who won the last 5 games away from home. We know that the quality that they have, they can create chances and score goals. We had a really good goalkeeper against Vince, I think, make some important save, and we needed everybody to perform well to get something from the game, and we did it really well today.
Does this make up a bit for the agony of that last gasp goal you let in at the Emirates?
No, not at all. I think it just showed that we are progressing as a team. We scored the first goal, and the way we managed our difficult period was really positive, and we showed that we are growing as a team, and that's exciting for the football club.
Any bit sweeter for you, given that it was Arsenal today at all?
No. What was important is to win the game and try to climb a little bit more on the table. We did it today, and we did it in a really good way.
Just finally on that, up to 9th in the table now. I mean, it's a remarkable season. Palace haven't had many top half finishes. You're on course to do something very special.
Yeah, but this is a challenge for the players, for everybody at the football club. We have quality. We know that we can perform, but we need to do it on a consistent basis, and if we do that, we will have more chance of winning football matches.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers, Patrick.
Yeah, Palace up to 9th. Worth pointing out, Clinton, that their record finish in the Premier League is 10th. That was the season Alan Pardew came in halfway through to succeed Neil Warnock. So that's real signs, if they can keep this going, of Palace progression. Yeah,
the progression has been first class. Even if they didn't finish in the top half of the table, there's progression because the style of play, as I said, it's moved forward now. You go in to watch games now. Fans were so frustrated, even though they respected what Roy Hodgson done. They were so frustrated with that style of football because they know they had a lot of attacking players and good young players. The one thing I know when I speak to Dougie Freeman, director of football, he wants to come and bring through a lot of the kids through the academy into the first team. And Patrick Viera is the main man for that. He's done that before. And they get involved. The youngsters go over and train with the first team. And there's a lot of good youngsters at Palace. So for me, the future is massively bright. The only thing I worry about is he does too well. And a lot of the top teams come and start sniffing around because I think he's a fantastic manager and he can go and manage a top team. What are you thinking, Lee?
Well, Arsenal.
Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, but we want him to stay.
Yeah,
for now.
I mean, he's got all the attributes.
Yeah.
We said that before the game.
Yeah.
The way he conducts himself, the team, how he set them up, how he explained there in the interview how he was going to get about Arsenal, where their strengths were. He kind of gave a bit of his philosophy away there, which is nice of him. So we get an insight into how his mind's working, and his players are doing what they say, what he says to them, and you can see they're full of confidence, and they're only going to get. I mean, he's been with them 5 minutes. You know, you go take a whole new season next year with him, you know, and he gets a bit of money in the summer, as Clinton said, then the sky's the limits because he's got... as soon as someone walks in a dressing room with him as the manager, he's got a year, free year, because the player goes, it's Patrick Viera. So he's won everything in the game, and he's one of the best players that's ever seen in the Premier League. So I'm going to give him a year of my life, whatever he says as a manager, because he's got that gravitas about him. And also he's now getting a resume and a results table that players will look at and go, I want to play for him, because his team are exciting. It's great to watch.
And they're consistent, as he mentioned there. That's what they were searching for earlier in the season. 1 defeat in 11. In all competitions, hard to beat. We've mentioned the clean sheet and an FA Cup semi-final to boot.
Exactly. The only thing I'd be disappointed, there's been too many draws. I think there was 13 draws. And at the start of the season, there was too many draws. But as you said, the consistency over the last few games has been fantastic, and they've turned all them most of them, what they would have been drawing, into a lot of wins. So, as I said, the future is bright. I speak to a lot of Palace fans, and they're happy with Patrick Viera. And I said a few probably at the start raised eyebrows when he came in the door with his managerial experience, but he's brilliant. And as Lee said, You come and tell me, if I was going to that club and Patrick Viera is the manager and he's telling me to do something, I'd do it because he's won everything.
He's not
been
going to
there.
sign you.
No, he's not. I'm too old now. Maybe assistant manager?
Too old. Maybe.
Oh, you never know.
But belief as well. When you're holding the champions and when you beat an Arsenal 3-0 at home, the injection of belief into the players.
You almost don't have to say anything next week to them during training. They've got a semi-final coming up. You almost just give them a free week and say, right, we carry on doing what we're doing. Check the result out the other night. That's enough. Don't say anything. Just let them play next week and just let them go. And I think they'll give Chelsea a proper game, I tell you.
Yeah, they all want to play at Wembley, don't they, in that semi-final. Lee, Clinton, thank you very much indeed for your company. Well, the last Premier League game of the weekend was always going to be pivotal, memorable for Crystal Palace in the end. Arsenal couldn't get back into that top four. Still plenty of twists and turns around the corner, though. From the three of us, we will see you soon.